Morning class. Today's video we're going to go over the negative exponent rule. We're going to practice it by itself, and then like starting in problem number 4, we're going to combine it with other rules and finish it out. Now the negative exponent rule just says if you have x to the negative a, you can rewrite it as 1 over x to the a. Just remember, whenever you have a negative exponent and it would have been on the top of the fraction, you flip it over to the bottom. If it's on the bottom, you can flip it to the top. When you flip it to the other side of the fraction, you end up getting a positive exponent. So, for example, this first one, x to the negative 5, we have a negative exponent, so let's flip it to the other side of the fraction. It would become 1 over x to the 5th. So you flip it to the bottom to get rid of the sign, the number stays the same, and anything on the top of the fraction would stay the same. So we've got 3m to the negative 2. Well, look, the only thing being raised to the negative 2 is the m, so the 3 is actually going to stay on top when I make it a fraction. Move m to the negative 2 on the bottom, you just get m to the second. I want you guys to try number 3. Go ahead and push pause on the video until you've tried it. Push play when you're ready to see the answer, okay? Push pause now. Okay, so we have negative 7, a to the negative 4, and b to the third. Take this one step at a time. The only thing being raised to a negative exponent is the a, so this negative 7 is going to stay on top. A to the negative 4, that's going to go to the bottom of the fraction, so a to the 4th. B to the third, it's already positive, so that one stays on the top, so this would be negative 7, b to the third over a to the 4th. The only time you move it to the bottom is when the exponent is negative. Now, what if these combine with other exponent rules? Like right here we have the product rule. Well, the product rule says we add the exponents, right? Multiply your numbers. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. 8 plus negative 7 is positive 1. So since this one has positive exponent, there's no reason to rewrite it, just negative 18x. Number 5, we have the power rule, which means we multiply the exponents. So 3 to the negative 2 is being raised to a negative, and x to the third is being raised to a negative. So both of them we're going to have to flip. So I've got it here. We're going to have to flip both of them because everything's being raised to the negative. So this would be 1 over 3x to the third. And now that it's on the bottom, we can change it to positive 2, and we just multiply it out. 3 squared is 9, so 1 over 9. X to the third raised to the second. 3 times 2 is 6, so it's x to the 6th. I want you to try number 6. Use the same technique we use in number 5, but go ahead and try number 6. Push pause on the video until you've done it. Push pause now. Okay, so you see in this one, in parentheses, everything is being raised to the negative 2. So you had 5y squared, and all of that's being raised to negative 2, which means we need to rewrite it with a positive exponent. 1 over 5y squared, and now, since it's on the bottom, we flipped it, it'll be raised to the positive 2. Now that everything is positive, let's work it out. 5 squared is 25. Y squared raised to the second is y to the 4th, so this ends up being 1 over 25 y to the 4th. Now, some of these we're seeing over and over again. Let's do number 8 real quick with 3 variables, but the process is still the same. Now, this is the product rule, right? So, a to the negative 5th times a to the 7th is negative 5 plus 7, which would give us a to the positive 2. b to the 8th plus negative 3 would be b to the 5th. c to the negative 12 and c to the 7th would be c to the negative 5. Now, I don't want a negative exponent, so I'll rewrite this one as a squared b to the 5th over c to the 5. Once you move it to the other side of the fraction, that negative goes away. Let's do one more, and then we'll change into the fraction notation. So this one we've got 4x to the 3rd, 6 raised to the negative 2, plus 2x to the 2nd, y to the 4th, raised to the negative 3. Well, we've got to handle exponents before we add. We only add like terms. So I've got to flip this 1 over, and now we've got 4x to the 3rd, y to the 6th. That's all going to be squared, plus 1 over 2x squared y to the 4th, and we'll raise this to the positive 3 now. Once you flip it, you change the sign. Let's multiply this out. 4 times 4 is 16. X to the 3rd raised to the 2nd is x to the 6th. Y to the 6th raised to the 2nd is going to be y to the 12th. Plus, it's still over 1. So over here we still got it over 1. 2 to the 3rd power is 8. X to the 6th, y to the 12th, when I multiply those out. Now, they have the same exponents in there, so we actually can add them. We would have to get the same denominator. So on this one, it was probably more convenient to treat them with negatives and then add them together. Give me one moment. So there is an easier way to do this. Instead of flipping early, we're going to flip late. So I'm just going to do the work up here. Let's take this all to the negative 2 power first. So just multiply it to the power, but keep it negative. We've got this is going to be 16 x to the 3rd x to the 6th y to the 12th. That's what we got earlier. And it's being raised to the negative 1 plus 8 x to the 6th y to the 12th raised to the negative 1. They have the same exponent. We can add the coefficients. 8 plus 16 is 24. X to the 6th y to the 12th. And now we can raise it to the negative 1, so we just flip it to 24 x to the 6th y to the 12th, and 1 is on the top. Yes, ma'am.
Did you send Aaron stuff?